Hello everyone, welcome to the March 9th League of Legends DFS slate breakdown. Real quickly, this is going to be a much different video probably than what I usually make. I'm going to try to just speedrun this one a little bit. It is getting pretty close to lock here. You guys could see about 4 hours before. And overall, I'm just pretty tired at a long, rough day. But I still think there's some interesting things I think to talk about here, and I don't want to leave you guys high and dry if I can make the video. So trying to push through a little bit here and talk about it. Quickly, I have already looked at the odds and stuff. I do already kind of have an idea of what I'm liking. Right off the bat, I think starting from like bottom to top, I think RNG should probably just get the job done 2-0. I'd be pretty surprised to see anything else. Granted, the LPL is weird and random at the moment, but yeah, I was still checking in the LCK. But they have 2 series wins, both over other elite teams. I believe they beat V5 and Weibo back to back. They beat EDG and Weibo back to back. So, beating 2 elite teams there 2-0. LGD should be no resistance. I think pretty heavy 2-0 odds there for sure. Ultra Prime Thunder Talk. I was honestly a little surprised when I checked odds for this one. I expected it to be like Pick'em, or maybe even slightly TT favored. I was a little surprised to see Ultra Prime get the nod here, if I'm honest. I do kind of understand why. We've just seen probably a little bit more consistency from Ultra Prime, and Thunder Talk still have like a 2-10 record or something, so still nothing to write home from them really overall. But I think overall, just based on what we've seen over the past few, these past few weeks, their last like 3 games or so when they have Chieftain, UCal in the lineup, I just feel like they've looked better. I've been more impressed with them. I think they have a little bit more of an idea and a direction that they're wanting to go and they're heading. I was really impressed when they were picking things like the Silas that nobody else was. It just seemed like they have they're kind of accepting their role and trying to take a unique approach here. And I think that play style is enough to defeat a low team like Ultra Prime. So I think this is still just a really close coin flippy match, and I will just take the underdog side here with TT. They've been kind of my team since they had these roster switches with Chieftain and UCal. So that's just where I'm going to continue to go. I just cannot fathom paying that price. I think on Ultra Prime when we're that close, I think overall. Swapping over quickly to the LCK, Genji Dom 1. That was just like a complete stay away for me. It's so weird to me. I'm not sure what the COVID situation's still looking like with the Genji. I know in their last series they had no Chovy and Ruler, but that was last week, and I think in the LCK the like COVID rules vary from like week to week. Pretty much like I guess what I'm trying to say is like if you test positive for COVID, I think you're out for the week for sure, and then you're kind of like re-evaluated next week. And it is the start of like a new week for them, so I think there is a possibility for them to get Ruler back, but probably because he's been out longer. I think it's a little early for Chovy, but I don't know. I think overall it's just to stay away from me. I think Dom 1 has been so sloppy; it's a little tough to get there. But you're still Genji have looked rather lifeless themselves especially just with how COVID has been ravaging this team overall. So stay away there. DRX Nongshim, this one's still a little tough for me, honestly. I just honestly kind of find it hard to accept how bad Nongshim is. I've been kind of believing in them for a while, and they just kind of never came through. So I think it makes sense just go with the... Nongshim did get the win over Sandbox. We could, I guess, quickly look at that just because that one's a little interesting to me as well. Let's look probably just like the past couple weeks. Maybe we could just expand it for now and then see. So yeah, DRX have been over KT, Sandbox, Bro, Dom 1. They lost to Hanwha, Genji. So decent results there. Nongshim, I believe, not quite as good. They've lost to Fredit Brion, Guangdong, lost to Genji T1, Genji again. They went really over Sandbox. So yeah, it does feel like it's maybe like a little bit of a levels thing. It seems like DRX is just slightly above Nongshim. Again, I just feel like Nongshim should be better. I feel like early on they showed some real highs, and then I don't know what happened. They just kind of fell off so quickly. It's kind of tough to ignore DRX, honestly, especially for, with a DraftKings standpoint as well. They've been putting up some decent numbers, so we can definitely have them in the conversation. Genji Damwon, I don't think that's one we're going to be a part of at all. This might be too quick, too small of a sample, but I'm going to set it just to 12.4. I think all these teams, every team should have at least 2 series in this new patch, and I do think this is you guys are definitely going to think this is probably too small of a sample, and I do understand why. However, I think it's somewhat fair because I think the new patch did change a decent amount, going from 12.3 to 12.4. I don't even think in the LCK they played on 12.3, and the LPL I know they skipped 12.3 altogether. So we're going from like 12.2 to 12.4. That's 2 whole patches. That's a whole month worth of updating. So I think it's worth just trying to look at just this sample. So that's just my thought, and I definitely feel like we've seen very different scores and very different things coming up from 12.4. So yes, super small sample and that stuff, but I think it is kind of worth looking at. So we'll check here in the LPL. We have RNG, Ultra Prime, Thunder Talk, and LGD. And over here, we could just throw in Damwon and Nongshim, DRX, Genji. So looks like Genji, Damwon just already X'd off their pretty lowly numbers. Their game times again are longer. That is something we talked about previously, but still, that's just pretty dismal. Just really tough to get there, I think. Nongshim are playing at a super, super crazy game time. Again, these numbers are going to look weird because I'm purposely setting it at a super small sample. So, but that's still pretty good for DRX. If we average these out, that's like at a 0.8 for 36 minutes or something, 34, 35 minutes maybe. What is that, like 25, I guess, combined kills per minute? Or sorry, like 25 kills per game on average. So, think if DRX is winning, they're probably going to be around like the 15 to 20 mark. I think that's a pretty good mark there. Looking at like RNG, LGD, these game times definitely are shorter, but the pace is much higher. Same thing for Ultra Prime Thunder Talk. I still like Thunder Talk here. It's definitely not outlandish, I think, to like them. So I definitely think DRX is live. I definitely like RNG as well. I don't think you'll be able to get them both. Maybe unless you do something weird. But it looks like RNG is super expensive. So maybe if you do go something DRX heavy, then you'll be able to get that DRX RNG lineup. I definitely think that's a fine idea, especially maybe in like single entry or like, I guess, cash. But I typically don't like advocating for cash game lineups or cash games at all, honestly. So I think for a safe idea, that's not a bad one. But I'll personally just kind of like taking the underdog shot with Thunder Talk because that's what I've been liking. So I think this Thunder Talk one is unfortunately just one series. Let's see, they played a 1-2 to LNG. Yeah, that's the only one that they have. So yeah, I think that's still fair though. So we'll look at players. Whoops. Need to come here. Look at LCK LPL players. Again, probably just gonna set it to 12.4. Super small sample. Keep these links in the description for you guys if you want to go widen the search a little bit. But I just want to look at this patch. I know it's a super small sample. I understand. But I feel like the game changed a lot, and I don't want to kind of include this other data in what I'm looking at. So, gonna keep it on patch 12.4. Filter teams, DRX, filter teams, Royal Never Give Up, and Thunder Talk Gaming. So these are probably gonna be my 3 focus teams. Lately, it's weird. Yeah, lately I found myself drifting from kind of what worked for me in the past. And personally, I like to keep it pretty tight, keep like a single entry lineup, put it in the single entry stuff, and, kind of go from there. I found myself doing like the multi-entering stuff, trying to hit the big 10K up top and the 2K up top. Although I do feel like I was kind of live for it and I did have some chances, ultimately it's just kind of not profitable, I think, or not. It just doesn't feel as profitable to, have that opportunity long term. So I'll try to go back to what I'm doing and do like a single entry, that kind of stuff. So looking at the DRX side, it actually doesn't have that great of co-participation numbers. Again, this is only 2 series sample. This is just for 4 wins, so not much to love, but looking like Zika and Pioshik deft mixing a little bit. Looks like Barrel and Kingen are maybe on the lower side. Over here for the RNG TT thing, it is definitely through the bottom lane pretty heavily. We could see the both top laners at the bottom. Both supports and ADs are top 5. Yahoo is the only middle one there. So maybe there is something you could go like, I wonder if you can have a Zeka, Yahoo. Let's see. I guess maybe Bin would be the top laner there. Jungle. Looks like Pioshik's numbers are a little bit better. And do we just want to go with, let's see, Deft 65, Gala's at 66, Barrel's at 61, Ming is at 74, so it would be Deft Ming. No, maybe there's something there. I think that is definitely a possibility. Something like that. That was just an idea I had, but I think I have a pretty good idea of maybe what I'm leaning at. I'm gonna have to decide whether or not I want to just go with the DRX RNG. I think that does seem pretty safe, but I don't know how safe I really want to be with it. I could definitely see myself taking the underdog shot, just going with TT. So, yeah, I think that's gonna be it for me today. Again, not as much and not a super insightful video. I know I'm just trying to get something out for everyone. So that's where I'm leaning. I'm definitely gonna be with RNG. It just depends on whether or not I want to pair them up with TT and go that way, or go with DRX. Honestly, with how ownerships have been shaking out lately, I honestly feel like people have been going more so with the underdog and they're kind of leaving out the LCK. I think going up with like a DRX heavier makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think overall that makes sense, and that might be what I want to do. It does seem safer, but I honestly think you can get some leverage on the field. I think people have been avoiding the LCK a little too heavily, obviously myself included in that. But I think we've definitely seen some good numbers coming from the LCK as of late. I could definitely see Ultra Prime Thundertalk going 3, which could hinder their upside as well. I feel like DRX and RNG are very live to get the sweep, so I think that could heavily influence their score. So I think overall pairing up the DRX RNG makes a lot of sense. It's probably where I'm going to be headed, but I think if you do want to take an underdog shot, I think TT is the choice. I can't see myself getting to Genji Dom1 at all. It's kind of like a dog or pass situation here. I think Genji is probably the only option I'd consider, and even then, we kind of don't even know who's going to be playing. Like, I feel like Chovy and Ruler could be back. I'm not sure what the rules like are looking like, but I think Genji are still live there. Dom 1 really have not been that good compared to their expectations and stuff. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for me today. Again, sorry for the short video and everything. Try to get back on normalcy tomorrow, but best luck to you guys tonight, and I will see you guys tomorrow.